Hello and welcome back to another Elim cast. As always, my name is Johno and I'm joined, he's returning to the commentary seat, is James. How you doing, James?
Yeah, really well, thanks.
So we have footage today from the Oxford Championship still, and it is the first round of the double elimination. So on the left we have the number one seed, Ollie from Oxford, who we've seen in a couple of videos, and he's using his very good RP deck. On the right-hand side, we have a local favourite, his local to Reading favourite, Gordon, who is the number 8 seed. So Gordon's a good friend of ours. He's recently moved away to London, which is a great shame for the strength of the Reading meta.
It is indeed. Gordon taught me over and over how to become a better player, mostly by beating my face against the wall that is his play.
Yeah, he's great, and he's playing his beloved Andy. He has he's very faithful, is Gordon, to Andy.
Well, you say that, Jono, but he abandoned her for Max. He thought that was
that's right, he had a flea. Yeah.
And then after a slightly rough tournament in Cheltenham and Gloucester, he went back to his faithful Andromeda.
Oh, she took him back.
Yeah, she did.
So, yes, we had a turn 1 run on undefended R&D for Gordon. He dropped an R&D interface and ran. He accessed a pup in NAPD, which he was not able to score. So he knows it's on there, and then sets up security testing.
Teaches a siphon here.
So yeah, strange start. Ollie obviously ices R&D. Now that he knows what's on it. So
I guess Gordon probably made the NAPD face.
Yeah, maybe he did, yeah. He may or may not have given it away. So he drops Cloak though, so we can already suspect this is an Andy of the stealth variety, yeah, which is strong. It can take a little bit longer, I think, than normal Andy to set up, but because Andy's normally blisteringly fast to set up.
Still faster than any other stealth deck I've seen, which is why it can be relevant in the metagame of this point, which was still based around a lot of quite fast decks. I think Ollie's deck is actually not the weaker matchup for stealth that some RP are. He's running a lot of efficient taxing ice. I don't think he's running quite as many of the multi-sub sentries that Switchblade is so effective against.
Yeah, so we've seen in some previous videos he does have a little bit of taxation. He actually has a lot of ice that punches face checking, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I played him on the day. He was the only person that 2-0'd me, though I did have a rough day overall. He's just running Pup, Pop-Up, Viper, Eli and Marcus, I think is pretty much his entire ice suite.
Yeah, maybe.
And they're just highly efficient taxes. You can't... the Marcuses and the Vipers, you have to break them if you're trying to run on the remote.
So, you may be aware of this, but Gordon was not. So he ran and face checked the Marcus. He did have a click left, so he broke the first subroutine, which is fortunate.
Yeah, nothing you really want to lose here. I guess he'd probably ditch the John Masanori if he had to.
Yeah, well, he obviously took the tag from Masanori.
Tag me,
instead.
Mori.
Yeah, I know, right?
I can't imagine that Ollie's running any tag punishment though. I didn't see any on the day.
No, I don't think there's any way to tag. That was a tag of his own making.
But he does trash.
Did it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, very strong play from Ollie. Well worth it.
So, trust and security testing is obviously very cool. I guess John Masanori, I don't know, I don't particularly like John Masanori.
Tag me, Mori.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because he can backfire, so I guess it does give you draws though when you get in. You'd think Ollie would have more confidence that he'd be able to keep
I think,
Andy out.
yeah, I think this is Gordon's only draw in this deck, is John Masanori. Which obviously relies on successful runs. Successful runs being at a premium against RP. He used to run Mr. Lee, which I still think is alright, but I guess in this deck where he's hoping to make very cheap runs really efficiently with stealth credits, then he thought John Masanori was better.
So Andy ran and trashed the mental health clinic, and RP responded by installing a Sunji. It's not really what you want to see.
Yeah,
Sunji's just really good.
Ollie's got this annoying way of setting up his servers in the wrong manner.
Yeah, with R&D on the wrong side of HQ.
Yeah, like for a second I was unsure which was the remote and which was the trash pile.
Yeah. So a
Clicking
siphon,
through.
yeah.
I guess he doesn't give a crap about tags now.
No, he can float them.
He's already paid the price for getting tags.
Yeah, so he now actually has 3 tags. Because he kept the one from before.
Yeah, well, there's no reason to
It doesn't really
remove it
matter
now.
at this point, yeah.
I thought I'd taught Gordon to remove tags, but
So just 3 credits for RP, who's just, and we've seen this in previous games, he likes to just kind of slowly set up. Having said that, second RD interface,
yeah, Gordon's
Pop
in
does not defend.
a pretty good position here. Lotus Field, bane of Gordon's existence.
So yeah, it's his daily business show, yeah, and trashes the Caprice.
Yeah, you've got a trash Caprice.
He didn't trash daily business show, again, that's similar, he only has 5 credits.
Yeah, I think he's rigging up quite slowly. I've seen this stealth deck really rig up fast.
So an inside job to trash Sunji. It's
That's fine. I mean, Ollie's now
yeah,
got
inside
no
job's a
money
great
at all.
card, but Sunju's a really great card, and I can imagine exactly what Gordon's reaction would have been there.
He's probably giving it the slow shake of the head, and like the hair will wave a little bit.
Okay.
Sorry, this is we know Gordon quite well.
That got weird. So just taking credits. So for the second time in the game, Gordon actually only took a 3-click turn. He's playing on hard mode. He's dropped a couple of clicks.
That's
against RP as well.
In his own words, I'd say that's suboptimal.
That is, of course, unless I missed. Maybe he drew extra. Yeah. He drew 2.
He needs to be drawing
3.
manually here. He's not seen any of his breakers.
He's still only got a cloak out. I mean,
yeah, this is the R&D pressure is good, but Ollie obviously responding to that is starting to ice the server.
So 3 credits and a gamble for Gordon, and then Ollie versus Daily Business Show. So with Sunju Online, I mean he's poor, but with Sunju Online, his credits will trickle up. RP.
You've got
Daily Business Show will help him kind of stall, just avoid him getting flooded while he waits, which is obviously great. You've
known Gordon a lot longer than me, Johnny. How much would you say he loves money as a Netrunner player?
I don't know. My view of Gordon is that he's very rational. In many ways, I consider him the antithesis of myself. Many games between me and Gordon have been hilarious because while Gordon, maybe I have his weak spot because he finds it very hard to rationalise what I would do.
Exactly. Some of my most famous victories against Gordon were when I rezzed an out-of-the-box piece of ice, and he assumed that I was playing a proper deck and lost all his breakers or something.
Having said that, he's meticulous. He's got great attention to detail and very good awareness of board state, which is obviously the most important thing.
He's fantastic at managing his economy, as you'd expect from an economist in real life.
Yeah. So we had another R&D run. Nothing with Eli and Pop. Nothing really keeping him out, even though he has no breakers. And he accessed Future Perfect and lost.
Pleased.
But he got a Nisei, which is obviously crucial. Yeah. But he also has a really good lock on R&D. He can see, in theory, 3 cards a turn.
Well, so here we see another situation where it may not be what you want to do to trash this daily business show. I believe a lot of people say it's a must trash, and to a great extent I agree with them. But here, Gordon's going to see 3 new cards every time, which is, in terms of mathematical access, it's very
but it's
strong.
taxing to get in. So we see an upgrade on R&D.
I think that's going to be a Caprice, actually.
I'd say Caprice is a pretty good guess. I don't know, it's possible it's a Christian or something, but I'd expect Caprice myself.
I think most of Ollie's influence is spent on like bioroids and pop-up windows and stuff. I think he's running pop-up. I think he's running 3 times DBS, which helps speed up RP quite a lot, I think. Just yet another absurdly good 1-influence yellow card, Johnny.
Yeah.
Not like we've seen enough of those.
Okay, so legwork quite like.
Cleaning the hand. He's just going to click through.
You think he's worried that there might be he's got 4 credits as well, so he can, if there's an MPD going up in HQ, he might get it. And there it is.
He does. So here's the other part of trying to play around the deep. Oh,
Nisei as well, very good. So he's gone to
Gordon's in a
6.
fantastic position.
6-0. Yeah, he's got 2 of the Niseis.
He's got 6 points, 2 Niseis, and hasn't installed a breaker.
Yeah. So double DBS required a little bit of a ruling here. The ruling is that you simply draw 3 and keep 1 and put 2 to the bottom. It does make it. So how does this affect the R&D interface? I mean, you still, in theory, you could still lock them, but
it's not easy now. But it depends on whether you value a lock or you value the fresh accesses. I think. So mathematically, right now, there's 1 Nisei and 2 NAPDs. So there's 3 agendas in the deck that are easy to steal for Gordon to win the game.
that's true.
And then there's 3
Maybe future perfect
TFPs that you never want to see
That's
because of the side game.
So what do you dig for if you're RP? You're getting 3 draws. So what do you keep? What's top of your list? I mean, do you want an agenda? I mean, if you see the other Nisei, do you want that? Maybe Caprice first or?
I'm not sure.
More economy. He's only got 3 credits.
Ollie's deck can survive on minimal credits. I think he's stabilised R&D here because Gordon's not going to randomly run against the Caprice.
So, and in Gordon's position, you're 6 up? I mean, do you just sit back? Do you dig, draw, and dig? And
He needs to find his breakers now. He only needs one more access to win the game.
So he threw in security testing. I mean, he's obviously tagged. Yeah, I guess you don't want to speculate.
Yeah,
on
he's
archives,
not gonna. Leaving the DBS's res means there's going to be no agendas in archives.
That's true, but I mean.
Oh, you mean a security
testing?
testing? He's still tagged. He hasn't bothered to clear them, so it'll just get trashed by Ollie.
I mean, it would seem that a lot of his economy is resource based. Do you consider clearing the tags so you can get your economy back online?
Yeah, it's quite a big tempo hit especially since you have no breakers. When he's set up, actually, a lot of his kind of ice-breaking economy will be recurring credits. So that's all hardware or cloaks. So he doesn't need to fear the tags there either.
Yeah.
I think that the scariest piece of ice in Ollie's deck is actually the Marcus. So I don't think Gordon's.
You don't like face checking it. I mean, but as long as you run with the click spare.
Yeah, I don't think. I spoke to Ollie on the day, and he was basically saying how with the increased amount of Parasite around since Order in Chaos came out, he doesn't feel Kamino and Sarugi are as well positioned as they used to be.
Yeah, that's good insight. Actually, there's been a lot of Anarch recently,
and a lot of Anarch with clone chips. So resing the Kamino is often just a waste of 5 credits.
So a couple of draws from Andy and dropping another cloak and a fairy. So fairy hope face checking, but it's not a long term solution really, especially because the only sentry on the board is Pup that we've seen. So.
I just quickly want to go back and talk about how well timed Gordon's legwork was. The negative downside of leaving the DBSs up is some things are bound to slip through the net. It's the price you pay for fresh accesses on R&D.
Yeah.
And he timed the legwork perfectly and cleaned Ollie's hand out.
He got 4 points out of it, yeah. And the Nisei as well.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
I can't remember what the actual result of this game is. I guess you know, Johno.
I always know.
But I think Gordon's in a strong position.
Well, of course he is, 6 points up. But having said that, the money's cascading in for RP now. He can res ice. I mean, don't forget his central. It may sound obvious to say, but his central ice protects his remotes as well. The outermost one, at least.
So Ollie was using Viper and Marcus as the kind of face check punishing non-bouncing ice.
What'd you get for a special order? Corroder, maybe?
I think Gordon's going to go for the Corroder.
Or maybe you want to focus on the Lotus. Okay, so you got the Corroder.
I don't think he has. Yeah, so he's got the Fairy, so he's going to take the Corroder, which is probably a good shout considering you can see an Eli and a Marcus on the board.
That's true. I mean, an inside job will kill the Sunju, should you want to. It's not ideal.
Didn't see a lot of inside job yesterday, but still a very, very strong card.
I guess the other ice that he's seen, he's accessed is Wall of Thorns, so he might have that in the back of his mind. There's going to be a Wall of Thorns somewhere, possible on this remote at the bottom.
That would be punishing for Gordon to encounter, but also punishing for...
But with the Corroder, yeah, because there's one you don't want to face check, but with the Corroder it'd be a little better.
It depends what he's got in hand. If you use the special order, I can't imagine he's got any more breakers in hand, so you might not care that much about the net damage.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I mean, he's clicking for credits and he's doing a lot of drawing, so he's obviously not replete with great cards.
Ollie piling his remotes up.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the features of the venue. It was a pub in Oxford called the Mitre. Very small tables. It's quite annoying, and not great light, as we'll see as the evening wears on actually in some videos. But yeah, it meant that there was a lot of this on the day, stacking up all your uniced assets in one cluster.
I think you can hear me in the background clowning away.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Not just from you.
Yeah.
So Sanju and mental health and pad.
Ollie
getting
is
2 credits
really
on both
rich
sides.
now.
Yeah, and this money's not going to go away. You've basically got to give up now on kind of stopping the economic growth. I mean, the combined trash cost there is.
I think
so
in
much.
some ways Gordon's really lucky to have got 2 of the Niseis here because Ollie's in quite a strong position in terms of like being able to res all the ice on the remote and presumably anyway. I think I can't imagine there's anything in his deck that he can't res.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
think-
So now
yeah.
Gordon, but Gordon's 6 points up. He can wait and he can rig up and he'll need to. I mean, he's going to start seeing things like this. He's going to start seeing agendas, presumably get pushed through in a remote. But I guess he needs to kind of resist the urge. I mean, this could be a bluffed NAPD. I mean, you'd think it'd be a future perfect. Maybe he'd like to bait Gordon into a run. He's never going to.
The
If it is an
probability
NAPD,
is
he's not gonna score.
a future perfect, right? There's 3 of those left in the
You'd
deck.
assume
and
it is,
2
yeah.
NAPDs and a Nisei.
We know that he drew one earlier, I think, unless it went away somehow.
I can't remember whether it might have got DBS'd, I'm not sure.
It may have got DBS'd away though.
Because Gordon accessed it, lost the side game, it might have just been DBS to the bottom. It didn't
It was
pop
in
up in the
R&D, wasn't
legwork,
it?
so
Yeah, that's true, wasn't it?
But I can't imagine Gordon was complaining. This is a really slow game from this Stealth Andy deck.
Well, RP is good at kind of dragging it out, slowing a lot of things down, costing clicks everywhere. I mean, Andy's taken a long time to set up, so
Yeah.
it's played into RP's hands a little bit.
That's what I mean.
Having
It's
said that-
it's the rigging up that's been very slow. I've seen Gordon kind of explode and have a full rig out in 3 or 4 turns, and it's just absurd.
Having said that,
He's taking the net damage from this pup. Is he?
maybe he didn't want to spend the credits.
He loses a silencer and an inside job.
Yeah, he looked at his hand and thought, yeah, whatever. I think the inside job was the one he cared about.
Yeah, he's
The
not.
only
I
card.
think he would have inside jobbed this remote right now.
Yeah, that's quite likely.
I think that was what he's looking
So
for.
it looks like Ollie can res. He's going to be able to res one thing.
I think this
maybe
agenda's
both.
probably safe.
I'd say yes.
Yeah, it would have been a different story with the inside job. Sarugi, he
So
obviously was playing some of them.
Sarugi, yeah. So Fairy makes short work of Sarugi, which is good.
I think. I wonder whether this is the Wall of Thorns. It's either here or on R&D, I think.
He's thinking about it. If it is, that's obviously 8 to res. So taking below. Oh, although he will get 2 credits, so
He's
he'll
going
still
to
be
get
able to
loads,
score.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's going to get mental health and a pad credit.
that's right.
Pad campaign still good in RP. Not a lot of people are playing it. Deck slots, I suppose, but it's still a good drip feed economy asset that's taxing for the runner.
So still thinking. Looks like he's paying.
He has to, right? If that's an agenda that Gordon can score,
Looks like
he
he's
has
paying
to
8.
hold him out.
It's actually a toll booth though, so that's not ideal. Obviously, if it had been
Yeah.
Gordon 5 credits, if it had been a Wall of Thorns, it would have been able to get in. So yeah, the agenda's safe, and obviously the clickless economy.
He
gives him money
might
needs.
not even score it here. Like, there's no reason for him to have to. There's no pressure.
That's true. I mean, even if Gordon has an inside job or something like that, he still won't be able to get past the toll booth. If
He
he,
doesn't
has
have
a
the
code
money.
gate breaker,
he
he
has to
can't
install
afford.
a decoder.
Yeah, he's got
Ollie does score out the TFP.
he's got the cloaks hanging around. So,
Yeah, so that's 2 credits, I suppose.
but the fairy's gone.
Yeah,
so-
I mean, you can't. The problem with Sarugi is you can't just run through it and take the net damage because it'll just end the run.
Anyway, while we were yakking, Ollie did indeed score the future.
Yeah, he
perfect,
did
So he's
score
gone back
out.
up to 3. So who's in a strong position here? Is it Gordon with just 1 point needed, or I mean, RP's now set up really well. He lost a lot of money, but he's down. He's got so much money coming in.
I think it's quite finely balanced right now because Gordon's effectively completely locked out of R&D, and it means that these DBSs are just going to town.
Well, we don't know what that outside ice is on R&D.
I think just
Presumably
the
it's
fact
not
that
a
it's
barrier.
I think
Yeah.
the fact that it's probably a caprice.
You think the Caprice? Yeah, that one.
Gordon's.
You're taking,
Gordon won't like the maths on running through that repeatedly to try and win the side game and trash Caprice.
That's fair. Having said that, you get 3 axes a turn. You need 1 agenda. Maybe
Yeah,
it's still worth it. There's an Nisei somewhere.
He just needs to finish his rig and stabilise his economy. But as you said, is he still sat on the tags?
Yeah, I think he has got 3 tags still.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's never been able to deal with the tags, and it means like his there's a Katie Jones that's just gone straight in the bin, which presumably was a significant chunk of his econ.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of resource economy in his deck that he's suffering.
I can see Ollie coming back and winning this now because Gordon's too poor to trash the DBSs, so he's just getting a choice of what he wants.
That's true, and and he's getting choice of 3 as well.
Yeah.
With 2 DBSs.
He's probably looking
So
for the
he
Nisei
can-
right now.
He can think of a card, and he might get it.
I wonder
yeah.
whether he pushed a lot to the bottom earlier in the game when he was a lot less stable.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible because he was on the back foot.
Yeah.
And he knew it was game point, so he had to.
That's when these
HQ was
DBS
thinly iced.
Yeah, that's when the DBS RP games go really long, when you struggle early and you have to push the agendas to the bottom. You need to like Jackson shuffle to.
We're going to
spread them
see
back.
a resurgence of showing off. Do you reckon?
Well, I don't know what you mean by resurgence. I mean it's a
Sorry,
situation.
resurgence.
It's a situationally amazing card.
Yeah.
I mean, Ian Reid has been wrecking face at times with
Oh, really?
like that max mega dig deck.
It doesn't strike me as a card that a
Yeah,
presumably top tier deck would use.
he got brutalised by Seb's mega dig deck in the Reading Store Champs and then took it away. Ian reeded it up to make it even more efficient
Yeah.
and then destroyed pretty much everyone in the Stimhack Store Champions Invitational with it. The Americans couldn't believe it. I think Dan Darginio's comment was, "Oh my god, look at the unbelievable power!"
Yeah. Okay, so we've got an R&D run. So you think he's trying to?
So he's
Trying to-
found out the ice.
Maybe he's trying to flush out this Caprice and try and get some repeated runs going.
I think
He still
in
doesn't
some
really have
ways,
economy online.
I suppose if Gordon can threaten the remote enough, Ollie will put a Caprice in there. At that point, if you can force the Caprice, if you can have the Caprice rezzed on R&D, Ollie in a good position.
So Ollie scores out a Nisei, so he's got 5 points, but with a Nisei counter and what you'd have to say is a basically impenetrable remote, you'd feel like I might be able to now push this through, depending
Yeah,
if
I
he gets the
think
agenda.
Ollie's-
And as we said before, he can draw the agenda basically whenever he wants. He won't have to wait more than a couple of turns.
And the Nisei reduces the Nisei score now reduces the availability of good agendas for Gordon to get out of R&D. Now there's just 2 NAPDs that he's able to easily steal. And Gordon's not even very rich.
That's an interesting play from Gordon. He ran HQ and used Utopia Shard.
It's taking
And
a
then
punt.
ran Archives. He's trying to, he didn't get it.
Gets a Jackson and interns, which is pretty good.
But it might be fair to think that he's looking for agendas who might have had one in hand ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ollie's playing off the top of R&D here with the
So and still double advance. So and you got to assume the upgrade in that server is a Caprice.
Yeah.
So you got some real problems here.
Gordon's now in a
So
really rough
he
position.
rushed out so well to get 6 points up, but 5 points pulled back.
Losing the Masanori in the security testing to that Masanori tag just
That's it.
crushed his economy.
Yeah, that's it. That early tag from a Masanori face check. RP made what ultimately turned out to be absolutely the right decision to trash
Yeah.
his assets.
At the time,
And-
it left them both poor, but you can, like you said earlier, Johno, you correctly pointed out that all the drip assets will build them up
That's
crazily
it.
fast.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and you look at the RP board now, he's got a lot of money, but everything's rezzed. Everything is rezzed.
Yeah.
Except for presumably 2 Caprices. So there's no taxation you can do here.
I think Gordon's probably a bit disappointed with how this deck has performed. I've seen it get going so much faster than this.
Yeah, that is true as well. He's struggled.
He's a very sanguine person, Gordon. He'll take this, immediately work out what he needed to do better, which will probably be not run last click with John Masanori.
So it's a run on R&D, for which Ollie reses the Caprice. and takes some pop damage.
Oof, loses the legwork.
Yeah.
It's probably not that relevant now, but you might have wanted to take another punt.
So, Gordon's now doing some maths. So 3 knee saves have been scored, which means that in the deck, best case, there's 2 NEPDs and 2 future perfects.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't have
one
the money
thing's
to
on the table.
steal either of them after this.
He doesn't win, so he actually asks, and Ollie very graciously accepts, considering this is a double elimination game, if he can roll back and take 2 credits before the run. The only new information was there was a Caprice on RD, and
I think everyone knew.
they both agreed that wasn't really new information.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gordon has to win a side game.
He's got to win and hope he accesses a future perfect and hope he wins that as well. So,
yeah,
in fact, he lost the side game 2-1.
Yeah, so this is over.
So he's got 1 click left. He's trying to work out if there's anything he can do. He's got 3 credits.
It's a shame. He had a good start.
There's no way to get into this remote.
He doesn't even have a decoder out.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a sentry breaker either.
He's got a Ghost Runner credit, but that's not going to help him out.
No.
His cloaks are spent, so he just draws. And that's game.
Yes.
So, yeah, very incredible recovery from Ollie. I mean, Gordon was 6 points up. He got 2 knee saves. And Ollie was on the back foot, but he managed to grind it out. We mentioned the tag wrecking Gordon's economy when he decided to start floating, and all the assets that didn't get trashed. And
I think when you asked earlier whether Gordon should have cleared the tags, you're probably right.
It's just so expensive. You're basically taking a turn to do it.
But he had enough time at that point that he could have installed a KT and then used
started
that
using it, and it was.
economy.
And maybe there's the opportunity to start trashing asset economy on the other side. I mean, even still, not really, because it is RP. So every run is very tough. Very tough.
That's an interesting game for sure.
So it was the number 1 seed Ollie that progressed to the top 4 game, but of course it is double elimination. So Gordon was not.
I think again against Ollie.
No, we actually won't see Gordon again, which gives away the fact that he did in fact lose in the loser bracket and not make it out.
Didn't he lose to Ollie though?
In the loser bracket, it's possible. I didn't get footage
happened.
of the loser bracket until the loser bracket quarterfinal.
I think they played each other with Gordon playing RP, and Ollie is very, very good at side games.
And he's had Leela as well. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it is Ollie that recovers, and we'll see him again in the next video as he marches on. In the next video, James, he's facing Joey. So let's hope that he won't crush another Reading. Exactly.
Some sort of.
Because it's a bit of a stretch, but we claim that was a Reading versus Oxford grudge match, as they always are. So we'll see you guys next time.
Up until more recently, we've had a very poor record against the Oxford players.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe it goes on. We've recovered. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.